Like, I know people who are more pro-life than the pro-life people who espouse to be pro-life. And if they voted a way that did not reflect that, they're in sin. They're complicit.
Right.
All right, welcome to the Church Dropout podcast. Church Dropout is a podcast. We talk about issues, topics, and teachings related to faith, life, and culture in ways that are sometimes funny, sometimes serious, but always insightful. If you have not already, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast at. I mean, exclusively on YouTube right now. So please like, rate, and subscribe as you listen to it here. As always, I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Lisa.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got a little caught up on the intro because I wanted to do it a little bit
different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention you too soon. Not there's a problem. I just feel like it flows better when I just do all of the intro stuff and then introduce you. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. So this is a Q&A, not a Q&A. This is more of a dropout comments video where we just kind of react to some of the comments that, we've had on some of the videos that we've done. As always, we read the comments and, you guys say some good stuff and sometimes we want to talk about those things. So there was one comment that was made that I thought would be an interesting conversation or interesting dialogue. It was on the Joe Biden, Donald Trump debate video we did. Where we just kind of talked about, is this a sign, for Christians in terms of, what this current political landscape and situation looks like with these two candidates, should Christians rethink their political, not their stance, so say, but just how we think through this political system, right? Should we be focusing on something totally different, or should we continue to, drive down this path? Do we need to rearrange, reevaluate, and step more into gospel clarity? But, so we talked about that. You can go look at the video if you want to get more information on that.
Right.
But somebody left a comment on that video that I think would be, cool for us to talk about. And they said, if a candidate you vote for violates biblical truth, you become complicit in their sin. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure if they were saying this, if they were just making this comment or if they believe this comment, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, I know that there are some people who believe that, right? So if you vote for a candidate that violates biblical truth, you become complicit in their sin. So I thought it would be, I don't know, good to kind of chop it up about that.
Okay.
So at first glance, I mean, do you agree with that?
No.
Okay. That's pretty clear. Thank you for tuning in to the Church Dropout. What are your thoughts on that?
An example popped into my mind. So let's say that you're going to a church and you've been at a church for many, many years and, you've been taught under this pastor for many, many years. Your pastor sins. Your pastor falls. Your pastor does something that, just isn't, something you don't agree with. Does that make you complicit with it?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it is. I think this would be looking at it. There's a good example, but I think this would be looking at it from a little bit of a different perspective, right? Like in terms of, so I think this will be a little bit different because this is saying like, well, let's say, I don't know if I can switch that analogy to fit this. Well, let me tell you what I think they mean by this. Okay. So if a political candidate, because I know this is 99% of the time, this is what people are referring to. So if a political candidate is not against abortion, right? then, and you vote for that candidate, they're pro-abortion or they're pro-choice, let's just say, to shorten it, and you vote for that candidate, then you're complicit in their wrongdoing. Do you see what I'm saying? So because you're voting for a candidate that's clearly against.
Okay. Yes, I see what you're saying. So this is if you already know.
Yes.
What they believe in, and you still vote for them, and you know that what they believe in does not tie into what the gospel says.
Absolutely.
Okay, got you.
You see what I'm saying? So
scratch my analogy.
Okay, yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. It's good. It's good. So do you agree with that?
I still don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's not going to be one candidate that believes in everything that we believe in. You know what I mean? That's why there's still, even outside of that, presidency, there's still votes that can happen to change laws and things that we can do to get the word out there, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but in order, when it comes to a candidate, I don't really think you're going to get one that is going to believe everything wholeheartedly, the gospel wholeheartedly, you know what I mean? And follow it, you know what I mean? And even, honestly, I think there's some presidents that may not, believe in something, but they are okay with it, or you know what I'm saying? Or,
there's some give and take.
Right. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard, because even when I read those, when you go to vote and then you have those different propositions. Yeah. And when you read them, they'll say, either say yes or no on this. But if I say yes on this, I'm also saying yes on this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I really wholeheartedly agree with this, and I want this to change. But in order to get that change, it means that this is going to happen. Right. So it's just, it's hard. It's really hard. And I think that's a heavy weight to put on yourself. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's as black and white as that, like you just said. I love what you just said at the end. I think that's a heavy weight to put on a person, right? That if they vote wrong, let's just use that terminology, then they're complicit in whatever happens as a result of them voting for that. Right. That's crazy. That's a really difficult thing. And just kind of just commenting on what you said, because I think you brought a lot of things out questions that I would ask first. Is that the right way we should even be looking at this? Do you understand? Like if we're looking for a candidate, are we looking for a candidate to line up biblically? Right. That is to make the assumption that somehow the political party or somehow the political system is Christian, or you know what I mean? Like we're voting for not a president, we're voting for a spiritual leader. Right. Right. And we're not. Right. I'm not sure that that's the correct way to look at it. And also, I think that voting for something is not necessarily voting against something else. Okay. Now, again, let me just be clear, because people are going to say what they want. They're going to come out of this with their own conclusion. I've said it before, and I just want to reiterate this, because I really just don't care for the political system. That doesn't mean I don't participate. Right. I just don't care for it in a sense, right? We are not Republican. We are not Democrat. We are not conservative. We are not liberal. We are Christians. Okay? Yeah. So this is not, we're for this candidate, we're for this, we're pro-life, we're pro-choice. Those, we look at those things as biblical things, right? Those are political terms. We look at them biblically. Right. Pro-life from the womb to the tomb. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, because I think when people hear me say, or hear a person say, oh, well, voting for something is not voting against something else, they would say, oh, well, yeah, that's because you want to vote for a Democratic, you see what I'm saying? And you want to vote for somebody who's pro-choice, but you're trying to say you're not against abortion. See, but I think those are the wrong categories to set up altogether. And so I think it's making something that's not simple overly simplistic. It is not
Right.
black and white.
Right.
Okay. I think it's oversimplifying something. And I don't think that we're meant to function in that sense. I don't think we can function in that sense. To be honest with you, if that is true, then basically me as a Christian, I would just stand outside the system. I'm not voting. If I'm complicit,
Right.
then, and I can't determine fully
Right.
where I should be voting, I wouldn't vote. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no, I'm not going to do that, because if I'm signing my name on the line to say I am with something, then Christians, according to that, should stand outside the system and shouldn't vote.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, but I have other issues with this as well, because we do this with the political system, but it's so interesting. I don't think as Christians, we do this with other things, right? We're on YouTube, and YouTube stands for things that are against Christian values. Does that make us complicit in all the things that YouTube stands for?
Right.
The person who made the comments on YouTube, the person that made the comment, or individuals who make this comment, are individuals who use various means that are supported by agendas that are not Christian. Do you stop using all of those things as well?
Right.
And so I'm saying is like being complicit because you associate with something.
Right.
I think it's more black and white. It's not black and white. It's more nuanced than that. You know what I mean? And so I think a couple things. One, I just think that it's more nuanced than that. I think it puts our vote in a place that I don't think it should be. It makes it, this is going to sound bad, it makes it more important. Important.
Oh. Sorry.
Makes it more important.
Because I thought you were trying to say like potent. And so that's another, I was like, did you say portent? Okay.
Well, I mean, that would fit though. It does.
Right.
That would fit.
That's what I thought.
It makes our vote more potent. Yeah. It makes it more powerful. I don't even like that word. Potent.
Yeah. I don't either.
But yeah, I think it makes our vote more important. And I just think that it becomes a sign of faithfulness to God. Like how we vote. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, well, God is going to judge me by this one single action in this booth. So you mean to tell me that a person could vote for a candidate that's not pro-life, but have a life of helping and really working within the system of pro-life? You know what I mean? I'm talking about maybe they've sacrificed their life to it, and they work with various organizations and different things of that sort, or just on their own evangelizing and stuff like that, that they're not faithful because they didn't vote a certain way. Like, I just can't see that. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't see that. Now, I know that this is a bigger conversation, and I know that there are arguments that we're not entertaining, or, that we're not, having here. So this was not. All right, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Yeah. So, but like I was saying, I know that there are many arguments for this on both sides. People who feel like you're complicit and people who don't, and I know it's a complicated issue. So we're not entertaining every argument, against or for this, and I know that's the greater conversation that we can have here in 15, 20 minutes, or maybe a little bit longer than that. But I do think it's, something that, again, I think brings up, how we as Christians should participate in this system. I just feel like the political system puts a lot of, I don't know what it is, but it puts a lot of weight on Christians' participation to the point where people are being questioned. Their faith is being questioned by their political association. And that just seems weird to me, that our faithfulness is being judged by how we involve ourselves in the political system. And that's where I think Christians need to wake up.
Yeah.
Like I said, like, I know people who are more pro-life than the pro-life people who espouse to be pro-life. And if they voted a way that did not reflect that, they're in sin. They're complicit.
Right. Right.
How we've lived our life. And I'm not, again, we don't talk about a lot of things, how we've lived our life. I just couldn't imagine that. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't know. I just feel like it's not a black and white issue. We shouldn't make it a black and white issue.
Yeah.
We need to be careful to lay guilt where I don't think the scripture lays guilt on people. And I know some people may even look at, well, hey, there's instances where people are held responsible for decisions. I'm talking about biblically. People are held responsible for the decisions of individuals that they align themselves with. Yeah, but that's in a theocracy. Yeah, that's different. That's a whole different system we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we live in a complicated world, and Christians have associations with a lot of things today that are not biblical. And if we need to rethink that in the political system, then we need to think that in the whole of life.
Right.
Should we be participating in a whole lot of things?
Right.
The fact that, we're on YouTube and we're contributing to them making money furthers their cause. Should Christians just stop participating in that? But there's all types of systems like that.
Yep. And there's a lot of,
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And so I don't know. I think it just raises a bigger question. Now, again, I don't know. The person who made this comment, I think, I don't know them personally, but I know they're super solid in a lot of the things that they say. I don't know if they were just kind of putting this out there as a result of that.
Like something to think about.
Yeah, something to think about. Yeah. But I think it's a conversation that's worth having.
Yeah.
And again, as Christians, these are the conversations that we should have without breaking fellowship.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's it. Any final words?
Nope, that's good. But what I do want to say, just to add on to everything you just said, is that I think we should be paying more attention to the things we do have control of. You know what I mean? As far as, so you vote for this candidate or whatever, and then they affiliate with things that you don't agree on, what are you doing to get the word out about those issues and make changes in those issues?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think that's something that we need to reflect on and think about, before we start putting, a weight on just us making a vote. But what are we doing to stop these laws from going through, that do not align with the gospel?
Absolutely. I think to sum that up would be, instead of voting these things, why don't we be these things? I'm not, in opposed to just voting pro-life.
Yeah.
Why don't we demonstrate pro-life in our life?
Yes.
In opposed to, voting for those who don't have the means. Why not be that conduit of means, right? And I think that's what the gospel calls us to do.
Yeah.
Is to be the salt and the light in the world. And so, but anyway, great words, great thoughts. And so we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm sure there will be many. Please drop a comment below. We'd love to hear that. If you have not already, please like, rate, and subscribe. But thank you again for tuning into the Church Dropout podcast. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Good night.